What would you do if the person who publicly shamed you at your child's funeral suddenly demanded forgiveness? In today's story, the protagonist's choice is a masterclass in how to handle it. I lost my precious son, Leo, to congenital heart disease when he was just 1 year and 6 months old. He didn't survive the open heart surgery, and a part of me died with him that day. Leo was the greatest blessing I had ever known. Everyone kept telling me that time would heal, that things would get easier, but I knew, deep down, that no matter how much time passed, I would forever miss my sweet baby and every tiny, perfect thing about him. My mother-in-law, Clara, and I had always been at odds. Our relationship was strained long before Leo's illness, but during those agonizing months, we reached our breaking point. She constantly interfered with Leo's treatment, criticizing every decision I made, convinced that I was incapable of handling his complex condition. We tried to keep our distance, maintaining low contact, but Clara would still stir up trouble occasionally. My husband, Arthur, was caught in an impossible bind, torn between the overwhelming reality of our son's illness and his mother's incessant drama. The day we laid Leo to rest was the darkest of my life. Even then, Clara managed to make it worse. She arrived at the funeral and, with everyone present, chose that sacred, sorrowful moment to create a scene. She launched into a scathing tirade, blaming me for Leo being born sick, for not taking proper care of him, for not listening to her alternative treatment suggestions. Her voice, laced with venom, accused me of taking her grandchild away and causing their family unimaginable heartache. Then, for all to hear, she loudly declared me a bad mother. The words echoed in the hushed funeral hall, yet somehow, I remained standing, composure a fragile shield against her cruelty. My own mother, Eleanor, and my sisters, Sarah and Emily, immediately stepped in, telling Clara to leave. Arthur, meanwhile, sat beside me, his face buried in his hands, tears streaming down his face. Clara, never one to miss an opportunity for self-pity, then went around telling everyone that I had kicked her out to hurt her further. She even fabricated a lie, claiming I had convinced Arthur to ban her from visiting Leo's grave. A short while later, Arthur sent an email to his side of the family, detailing Clara's atrocious behavior during and after Leo's illness, concluding by stating he would no longer be seeing her. This only fueled the family's criticism. They rallied around Clara, insisting she was only trying to do what was best for her grandbaby. They called us selfish, asserting we were not the only ones struggling with the tragedy. It's now been 1 year and 8 months since we last saw Clara, and now, I'm 3 months pregnant. No one knew about the pregnancy except my sister-in-law, Olivia, my brother-in-law's wife, but somehow, the news got out. A week later, I started receiving calls from family members, informing me that Clara was hosting a dinner. The purpose? For her to apologize in front of the entire family and settle this issue before the new baby arrived. They claimed Clara was deeply regretful and even offered to financially provide for her future grandchild. They desperately wanted to see a reconciliation. I refused. To my surprise, Arthur wanted me to go. Even his grandparents called me, appealing to my good heart and my capacity for forgiveness. I told them firmly that I would never sit at the same table with the person who had publicly shamed me at my child's funeral. The memory of her cruel words was as vivid then as it was the day she uttered them. My sisters, Sarah and Emily, speculated that Clara's sudden change of heart was likely motivated by the new baby. While it certainly could be, I remained steadfast in my refusal to attend. Now, they're saying I'm making it difficult for everyone to move on, to heal from this unresolved pain, and that I really should go. This reveals Clara's greatest fatal flaw, her self-centeredness, which ultimately sealed her fate of estrangement. She isn't sorry that she harassed stressed-out parents who were trying to manage the health care of a gravely ill baby. One commenter astutely observed, she isn't sorry that she berated a grieving mother at that baby's funeral. She is sorry that the consequences of her abhorrent behavior have led to her being denied access to a grandchild. There is absolute proof of this in the fact that she wasn't sorry until she learned a new baby is on its way. Another echoed this sentiment, stating, they're saying you have to bite the bullet so everyone else can pretend it never happened. But if she didn't have the guts to apologize until now so she can play with a new grandbaby, then she doesn't mean it. She just wants to make a show of how great she is for everyone. Some things simply should not be forgiven, and Clara's behavior undoubtedly falls into that category. For the next 6 months, my health and stress levels are paramount, and the best way to manage both is to immediately remove from my life anyone who insists on renewing contact with someone who abused me. I have told Arthur that no means no, and that this topic is not up for discussion. The core lesson here is that true forgiveness comes from a place of genuine remorse, not manipulation for personal gain. What would you have done in this situation?